It's a great day to be a Rebel. We're excited about being able to host a regional here. You know, 2 years ago was something pretty special in 2017, and now getting a chance to host in 2019. It's great seeing up all the seats going up, and this team is excited. We're looking forward to it. We weren't sure if we were going to be able to be back here after the Tennessee series, but I know it's something special, especially to Kylan, to be able to come back here and play in front of our fans and be in our stadium. So we're looking forward to it.
Mike, I believe you said you watched a little of Chattanooga live on the way back from College Station.
I did.
What have you learned about them since Sunday night?
They've got some girls that can swing the bat a little bit. They play a lot of small ball, so they're going to bunt a little bit. That's what we would spend a little bit of time out there, not just because of Chattanooga, but Southeast Missouri too, just in case. They've got a couple of really good pitchers. So I mean, anytime you win your conference, you know you've got a good club, a good organization, and I think you know we're battle tested. They haven't played the type of schedule that we've played before. You know, we had an opportunity to play them last year, so we do have some video of last year. They were here at our tournament, so we do have a little bit of video on them from last year, and we have some of the swings that we had last year, so maybe we can get some sequences of their pitching coach and what they're going to call, but that's kind of what we have to go on, and then we have a few other videos to watch from them playing some of the other teams across the country.
Mike, Coach Glasgow said that he didn't really expect to host a regional, but he felt like the seating was unfair, in his words, to the one seed that hosted them. What's your take on seeding and Lafayette being here with you?
Boy, that's kind of a loaded question. I think as an 11 seed, getting Lafayette for a 50-win team with a potential host, I think a lot of it had to come down to regional team. It could have either been them coming here, a La Tech. You're talking about who's the next closest regional 2 seed that could come in here unless they're flying somebody in. So yes, from that standpoint, I think we probably should have had somebody maybe a little bit different, maybe not a 50-win team. But again, I'm not sure how the regional committee selects where they go and what they do. But you know, it is what it is. To be the best, you got to play the best. And Lafayette's one of the best teams. And so we're going to go out and hopefully win that first game. And if they win their first game, we'll have that matchup on Saturday.
Mike, just a blanket question, but injury-wise, health-wise, how are you guys right now?
We're pretty healthy. You know, again, when you've gone through a 50-plus game season, you go through the grind of the SEC and you're trying to practice and stay fresh. You have the nagging injuries. I mean, we've got the sore arms and the legs, and you know we're still in lifting program, and so we got a lot of those nagging things that we're trying to do. But for the most part, this team is pretty healthy across the board.
You've got some players on this roster that have experienced what you're about to experience again this weekend. One of them sitting right next to you there. What's the value in that?
You can't take away anything from experience of postseason. You know, we've got, I think we have 3 players that were part of that. And so being able to have those individuals, I think between Kylan and Kaylee and Brittany Finney, those 3 were here in 17 and were able to experience that. So those 3 will be on the field at some point, somewhere, somehow. So it's just using them as their leadership to really let the others know what it's going to be like. And I know that was a conversation that they've already had with their teammates. We talked a little bit about it at practice the other day and just what we're about to experience. I had them turn around and say, look what's being built out there for you guys, and just picture the crowds. You've seen the pictures in my office, and it's a picture of the regional last in 17 and a picture of that. So they know what we're about to experience. We've played in front of some big crowds, so it's not something that they haven't experienced before.
Kylan, what do you think is the makeup, the emotional makeup, the mindset, I guess, of you and your teammates, having played so well all season, but then getting to this point, I think losing 5 out of 6?
Mm-hmm. I think we're hard on ourselves, so all of us are kind of not down, but, you know, we were disappointed with the way we finished, which is why we were, you know, we're unsure if we'd host or not. And then kind of once I realized that we were 11 seed, I kind of reflected back on the entire season, and this is the best season we've ever had with Ole Miss softball, so I don't think that one bad weekend at Georgia and then the one loss at Kentucky defines our season or says that we're having a bad streak. I think it was just one weekend and that's it.
Coach alluded to the conversation you had with some of your younger teammates to say in that talk?
I was telling them since the middle of season that we needed to get some big wins because I wanted to host a regional, and people don't really understand how important it is for seeding wise, like all these wins and stuff. And I would just keep telling them that it's the best feeling ever. I'm so excited. Like, we need a host. I want to leave this field hosting. And everyone kind of doesn't really understand what I'm saying, but I'm just like, imagine the biggest crowd we've ever had times 3, and it's just so much fun. So I think they're all just excited.
Kylan, can you offer your perspective on the last 4 years? Because when you committed and signed to play softball at Ole Miss, there was no history, no tradition here whatsoever to speak of, and you're the only player in the program's history to will have played in 4 NCAA tournaments. I mean, what's been your view of what's transpired here over the last 4 years?
My view is just kind of every year we've taken the next step and we're never turning back. So the first year went to our first regional. Then the next year it was like, that's expected. We're expected to make regionals. It's no longer a hope that you make it. And now it's like we're expecting to host. And I think that's something that we've just transformed the program into it becoming a normal thing, and it's not a shock anymore that we're in a regional. We're trying to host. We're trying to be a high seed.
Mike, similar question, 5 years in. You talked a lot about expectations in the first couple of years you got the job. Now that you really are kind of 5 years into it, did you expect it to happen this fast? Just kind of where are you at in your mind from when you took it?
Well, in 17, I didn't expect that to happen as fast. So, yes, now where we're at, the expectations are there, but the expectations really started in 2016 because we did make a regional tournament. We were able to get those wins in the conference tournament. Of course, going to Oklahoma and playing in that regional final there was really good for this program because we got to experience something that they've never experienced before. So I think that was part of that process, that step that we've taken, like Kylan alluded to. But where we're at now, we finally have our recruiting cycle in here. Kylan's done a great job with being a leader in Brittany, and it's been a huge thing for us. I mean, recruiting has taken on another level. We've got great recruiting classes coming in. The text messages, emails, Facebook message, Instagram messages. After we're announced as the 11 seed, we're just off the charts. I think before I had an opportunity to get back to my phone, I think I had like 42 text messages and like 25 or 30 Facebook messages. So, and a lot of them were from people that are in the softball world. So that you're making a difference, and people are excited about it. People want to come here. It's not just something that they're thinking about. It's something that they want, that's somewhere that they want to go now, and that's something that we've never had before.
Mike, now that you scouted the field, can you talk maybe at least in general terms about how your pitching matches up this weekend?
We're not really sure what we're going to do, quite honestly, yet. We're still finishing up watching some video. Of course, we're focusing right now on Chattanooga and what's going to give us the best opportunity. The nice thing about it, you win game 1, you don't have to play. You play in the morning at game 2, and hopefully you win that, and now you play the championship in game 3. So, we're going to take it one game at a time. We're either going to go with one of our two. It's either going to be Brittany or it's going to be Molly. And what's our best matchup? I don't really know that yet. We really haven't talked as a staff fully. And we'll probably make that decision probably at some point tomorrow.
Where's your confidence level with Ava Tillman if you have to use her this weekend? She pitched well in College Station when you put her in, and she's pitched well back in.
Yeah, our confidence level with Ava is really good. Ava attacks the zone very, very well. She throws really, really hard. So especially coming out off of Molly, similar to what we've been doing with Brittany, gives us a huge benefit there. A lot of people haven't seen Ava this year, so there's probably not as much video on her as probably the other two. So that's something that's kind of in our back pocket that we can use during the postseason at some point.
Like, obviously the vibe through 2017, you guys were like the Cinderella story, came up in the SEC tournament. What's the approach this year? What are you telling your team about? Maybe obviously this year the expectations are much higher because you've been a top 20 team all year long. Is there any sort of difference in approach?
I think we've kind of taken the same approach. Really, the difference is our expectations are there. Our expectations are higher than what other people think. They predicted us we were going to finish 12th in the conference. So with that, it was just something to motivate us to be able to be better. and I think we really finished with a 13-5 record. We were half a game out of being a number 2 seed. So, I mean, really 12-2 is a huge difference with what people thought, and the whole conference was like that this year. And there's so much parity in this game, but I think our message has really been the same: is just to continue to get better every day. We talk about 1% better and being positive with each other, and I really think that's it. We haven't really changed a whole bunch in what we've been able to do the last few years. It's if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I don't think our program is broke right now. I don't think, even a lot of people, I'd get emails and people were like, Ole Miss had a down year last year, and maybe we didn't do as well as people expected, but I thought we had a really good year. We played in a regional final. We had to go on the road. It's hard to win on the road in regionals. It really is when you got those crowds. I mean, we saw the difference between Oklahoma in 16 and playing in a regional final there, being able to host here in 17 and winning, and then going to Arizona State and playing them in the regional final in 18. So it's different. It's a lot different. And that's why last year, all 16 seeds last year made it to the Super Regionals. So we have a huge advantage. And if we can get the crowd that I think we're going to have here, look out the rest of the teams that are here.
This is for both of you, but how can you weaponize that crowd this weekend? How is that going to be an advantage for you?
I mean, I just think sometimes having the crowd here, it just motivates everybody. I think it kind of hypes everyone up. And our team, we don't really get scared by crowds. I think people ask about the freshmen, how they're going to handle the crowds, and we love the attention. We love people screaming and hollering and stuff, and it kind of just motivates us to go harder. And I think sometimes when we get going, and let's say we get a couple hits in a row and the crowd's going crazy, I think that kind of really affects the other team's pitchers. That's really intimidating, especially with how many seats we're going to have this weekend.
Yeah, I think our fans are still really learning the game of softball and how much it changes. I mean, momentum changes drastically in our sport. Baseball is kind of the same way, and so when the crowd is into it, it really gets our players going. If the crowd is silent, we'll have click effects and all these other things, and it seems like sometimes it doesn't get the crowd going, but it takes a base hit here, a big hit here, or a great play, and then everybody starts picking it up, and we need that entire energy the entire time. And then we saw that in 17. 17, we were down a little bit in 17, and really the crowd was silent. All of a sudden, we strung a couple hits together, and that crowd's decimal level went out the roof, and all of a sudden we came back, and I think we ended up scoring 4 or 5 unanswered runs and ended up beating North Carolina in that championship game. So the crowd presence and what they are able to bring for us, it's having, I guess, a 10th man, 10th woman, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So actually probably 11 since we have a DP in there. So just that crowd's going to be huge for us this weekend.
Y'all have one of the maybe most animated vocal dugouts that I've seen all year. Who's responsible for that in there? Which one of your teammates are the ones that throw another one or whatever else you guys say?
It's mainly probably Allie, Jesse, and Izzy. They really like to work that front of the dugout, get everyone going.
They're not camera shy, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah, they love the camera.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think between Allie Mena and Jessica Puck and Izzy Worden, I think those three really get things going. And then you've got some other ones kind of down at the bench. Even Anna Morgan does a really good job of getting the team going. Ava Tillman when she's not in there. And it just feeds. I mean, it's all the way down the line. That's one thing that we hear across the country is your team has so much fun. When I do a lot of different press conferences and stuff with ESPN before is, man, your team looks like they're having fun playing the game regardless of what the score is. And I think that's a big part of what we're able to do here at Ole Miss is we are loose all the time. Sometimes I've got to bring the reins in a little bit, but for the most part, if they're not doing it, that's when I start getting a little nervous.
I know you checked the scouting report out on the opposing catchers. You feel like you're going to be able to be the aggressive team that you usually are?
Well, we're not going to change anything that we've done the entire year. We do know that 2 of those teams coming in have a lot of stolen bases. UL runs a lot. Southeast Missouri runs a lot. So, I think I forgot which one it was, has 90 to over 100 and something stolen bases. So, Autumn's got some work to do, but our job is to try to keep them off the bases and keep them contained. And, Autumn's done a great job there, and our pitchers have done a great job. And, I think if we play our game, we've got a good opportunity to win this regional.
Kylan, you had Ian Miranda out in the outfield with you for so many years, and now you got a freshman to your right and a converted second baseman to your left. How have you seen them grow and all the plays you guys have made out in the outfield this year?
Yeah, I love our outfield. I told Coach Smith the other day, back in 2017, Elantra, Miranda, and I all got the All-SEC award. Well, tournament. What was it? The tournament? MVP?
All-tournament team.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the all-tournament team award. And we were like, all right, we got one of the best outfields in the SEC. And that same thing happened this year. And you got Kaylee, who, like you said, is a converted infielder, and she's really stepped up. She's got a great arm. And Tate, I don't even know how Tate does some of those catches she makes. I mean, watching her do that, I love it. She's awesome.
It's Diva 1, and Kaylee's Diva 2, and then it took a little while for Tate, but Tate became Diva 3 about halfway through the year.
Yeah,
so
once she made a couple
they're-
of those ESPN plays, she kind of
Yeah,
took
they're
on
in their
that
own
role.
little world, and I just kind of let them do what they need to do. But they're an interesting 3.
Yeah.